bring in the Congressman, Elijah Cummings. He's joining us to discuss this morning, joining me from Washington. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks for your time.
It's good to be with you.
So while it might be fun to watch from the outside, this continues to get more and more heated in these committee hearings between you specifically and the chairman on this latest issue over the subpoenas. The chairman wants to know if a top White House advisor violated the rules that bars many federal employees from taking part in partisan political activities. It sounds in the weeds, but it is important. I want to know from you, why do you think that's wrong for the chairman to look into it?
It's wrong for him to make a decision that he's going to go to the top advisor to the president, political advisor, and ask him and just subpoena him before the committee to ask him any questions he wants to ask him when that's already been addressed. In other words, the White House took the time out to have its folks come before our committee, the staff, and to provide us with details as to how this office was being established. And basically, I didn't see any. We have what's called in these United States a separation of powers, and the president should have the opportunity to have confidential conversations between he and those people who advise him, and this violates that. Mr. Seamus is one of his advisors, and I do not believe for 1 second that this was about finding legitimate answers to the questions raised by Mr. Issa, because if that were the case, Kate, he had at that hearing the woman who basically is responsible for overseeing the Hatch Act, who has investigative power and prosecutorial power, sitting at that table, who had already gone over all of this and was about to testify that this new office had not violated the Hatch Act. They were in compliance, and he did not ask her one single question.
What do you
Something is wrong with that picture.
What do you think Chairman Issa is trying to do then?
I'm not sure what he's trying to do. Perhaps it's to play to his base. But I can tell you one thing, it goes against anything that when you're trying to be effective and efficient, it literally leads to dysfunction and it leads to distraction. And we are not addressing the problems that the American people want us to address. And that's the unfortunate part of this.
Well,
Go ahead. I'm mourning for what we could have done and what we could have accomplished under his leadership.
Now, and the Oversight Committee, if folks don't know, is one of the most important and influential committees in the House. The only committee, I believe, that has subpoena power, or one of the very few that has subpoena power. It's very important and it's very powerful. Are you saying that none of the investigations that Chairman Issa has instigated are serious or are worthy?
Oh, I would never say that. I think that we have the investigations that we've taken on are appropriate. But what I'm saying is that there's a way to investigate. You don't put out headlines and then claim that things have happened that didn't happen, and then the next thing you do, you go searching for the facts. That goes against your very credibility, not only of the committee, but of the Congress. Keep in mind that Chairman Issa has issued 99 subpoenas unilaterally, basically, and he's supposed to have consultation with me. Rarely do we have any kind of consultation. There's never been debate, never been a vote.
Congressman, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about, because this is not the first time that and I watch your committee closely, but this isn't even the first time that we've needed to talk about this on TV. The dust-ups that have gone on between you guys. I mean, just the few weeks ago, Chairman Issa cut your mic, and that led to a whole scene that happened on the committee, and that was just a few weeks ago. Do you two even have a working relationship at this point?
We have a working relationship. We're able to get things done when he's able to put aside the political theater and get down to the things we ought to be working on. I have told Chairman Issa, I've worked with Republicans. I've achieved a lot of things with Republicans. But this has been a very difficult situation. Again, I told him that if you want to go far, you go with others. If you want to go fast, you go by yourself. And basically, he's been going fast. And unfortunately, issuing subpoenas in many instances, so hurriedly issuing subpoenas that he's made mistakes. He issued a subpoena to Secretary Kerry, didn't even call him to find out that he'd be out of the country. Sent a subpoena to an IRS higher-up who wasn't even there at the time the issues came up that she was supposed to be discussing.
It seems to me that you think that the chairman's out of control, do you?
I'm not saying that. I'll leave that all to you all to judge. All I'm saying is I want to be about the business of searching for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and helping the American people live better lives. That's what it's all about, holding government to the highest standard possible. That is our job. That's what I'm sworn to do, and I'll continue to do that.
You know what? I feel like I hear you saying in committee hearings more often than not, political theater, partisan politics. I hear this from you over and over again. It does make me wonder, as a member of Congress, why do you stay on the committee if you don't think, one, your voice isn't being heard, or two, you don't think it's doing the business that it should be doing for the American people?
I stay on because there's so many people dependent upon me. When I go back to my district, I see people who say, Congressman, keep fighting for us. We need government to work for us. And I will fight until I die because it's just that important. Do
you think I don't mean to be flippant here. Do you think you and the chairman need an intervention? I mean, should you hash this out in private before we see this blow up in public?
Well, I'll tell you what I do. Every morning, my mother and father are preachers, so every morning before I walk into the hearing, I pray. I pray for about 15 minutes, go into meditation, and pray that God will allow us to work together to uphold the standards that we have set for the American people and for our Congress. Prayer changes things.
But we need the good men and women of Congress to put the prayer to action, I'll tell you that much. I really hope you guys can get this worked out, and I know that we say that sometimes what we see in these committees, they make for good sound bites that we put on TV, but I'm very serious when I say you are part of a very important committee, and we need it to work.
I agree. I agree with you 1,000,000%, and that's why I stay on, and I'll continue to stay on.
Congressman, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Of course.